Think about it. When are you more apt to make a rash decision? Or when are you more easily compromised? When things in your life are going good? Or when things in your life are going pretty sour, especially if there's a death in your family? A few things I'd like to discuss. So let's get to it. How you doing, guys? Nice to do a video from home once in a while. Haven't really had that luxury of much lately. It's not that I'm not home, it's just usually when I'm home, I'm probably asleep. Last weekend, I came across a video that kind of struck a nerve, and I posted it on my channel. Some of you may have seen it. Got quite a few views. But it got me thinking. Reminded me of something that happened to me in the early 90s. I had a death, a very close death, in the early 90s. And the one thing I found out, people really should not say anything. Even when people mean well, how many times have you heard the stupidest comments and you just wish they would shut up and go away? Like the ever famous line, oh, they're in a much better place. Really. I found out pretty quickly there's nothing that you can say that's going to make somebody feel better if there's a death in the family, or a very close death of that, for that matter. The best thing you can do is say nothing at all. But we always feel inclined to say something. Somebody wants to be comforting, but the best thing you can do is listen. Like I said, there's nothing you can say that's going to make the person feel any better. Even if they're going on about the situation, the one thing you can do is let them talk, let them grieve. You cannot speed up the grieving process, which brought me to the subjects of JWs and death. Jehovah's Witnesses, when it comes to discussing death, especially to somebody whose family member or somebody close who just died, they have no tact whatsoever. Just because you carry a Bible does not give you a license to be ignorant, and that's exactly what you are. They think that carrying a Bible makes everything okay. Let's tell them about the condition of the dead. Maybe somewhere down the line. But at that moment, no. I remember when I went through this some years ago, I went stone cold for some time. And the few people that knew about it, they didn't quite know what to say. Some people actually stayed very quiet, which was the best thing they could have done. I grieved my own way. I had my own timetable. Jehovah's Witnesses have none. They will say stupid things immediately. And we all know that because we were all there and we all witnessed it. How many times have you been in a car group and somebody came back from a door? And this I had actually mentioned several times before in the past. Oh, I just got a good call. Really, what happened? This guy's wife just passed away. And they're all happy about this. Why? Because they figure this now he can be lured in. I'm going to bring back the brochure, The Condition of the Dead, next week. Well, let's face it. Jehovah's Witnesses prey on death. They circle like sharks. When they find out somebody in their family has passed away, they zero right in on it. We all know this. For the reason being, when somebody is down, they're more easily controllable. They can be compromised because they don't put much thought into what's going on. When they tell people something that maybe they think they might want to hear, more often than not, they don't. But on rare occasion, they'll get somebody and they'll tickle their ear with it. And little by little, they lure them in. See, the one thing about Jehovah's Witnesses, You tell them something good, they have nothing to work with. They don't know how to handle that. They can only handle bad news. When you tell them something bad, they can tell you exactly why that's happened. This is Satan's world, blah, 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 blah. And they can tend to try to lure you in with this. Positive things, they have nothing to work with. How many times have you been in field service? And the people that were assigned the richer neighborhoods, they dreaded it. Why? Because they had nothing to lure these people in. They pretty much already had what they wanted. But they were more successful in the poorer neighborhoods. Those people that had nothing, they could sucker those people in so easily. Like I said, it's all about the compromise. This is why most people can slam the door in Jehovah's Witnesses' face. Now, most of my life, I had absolutely no use for Jehovah's Witnesses. Except there was that one time they came to my door. It was just a few years after this death I had experienced. And the one thing we talked about was the condition of the dead. And it caught my attention. This conversation would not have taken place 10 years earlier. Or at any other time in my life. The thing about Jehovah's Witnesses, they don't realize that when somebody's grieving and you lure them in, eventually, whether you hit their door or not, they are going to handle that death. They are going to deal with it in their own way. And your tactics will not work. They only work when somebody's on the downside. But on those occasions that you do lure them in, eventually, much like me, much like many of you out there, the smoke is going to clear. You're going to look around, listen to the BS that's being said at the podium, and you're going to think to yourself, what the hell am I doing here? And you really won't know how to escape. Because basically, it's not easy to. We've all been to a JW memorial when somebody in the hall passes away. And they are the coldest funerals. Don't call them funerals. They are the coldest I've ever seen. I have never experienced anything like this in my life. When you look around the hall, somebody passed away, family members, they're all sitting there smiling, talking. Not one tear is being shed. JWs will tell you it's because we know we're going to see our resurrected loved ones eventually. We know this, so we don't cry about it. Well, you know, the first thing I thought of, even when Lazarus had died, and Jesus knew he was going to resurrect Lazarus, what happened? When he saw Lazarus' sisters crying, he gave way to tears. So there's nothing wrong with shedding a tear. Yet you go to a Kingdom Hall, and you go to their memorials, nobody's crying. They're all laughing. And it's kind of cold because, in essence, Jehovah's Witnesses are very cold. Their compass is turned off. They're just not right. They prey on the negative. They prey on death just to lure someone into the organization. And they have no qualms about doing it. I guess they feel as though carrying that Bible gives them the right to do so. When I'm amazed more of them haven't been punched out than they have been. I just saw this video last week, and it got me thinking about a lot of things. It just got me thinking how cold these Jehovah's Witnesses really are. Now, I've talked to a few people who are dealing with deaths in the family, and, you know, I'm not going to rush right in and try to comfort them because, frankly, nothing you can say at that point in time. Let them grieve. If they want to talk to you, let them. But do not interrupt with your beliefs or anything you may think will comfort them because it's not going to. That was giving me a lot of thought. And you know, the funny thing was, I posted that video. I was amazed. I posted it very early in the morning, and before 7 a.m., it had already approached 1,000 views. So it had garnered a lot of attention. Most of the people that commented People I've never seen before. People that have never commented on this channel before, most. And most of them were quite negative. And I'm guessing to say that most of them were Jehovah's Witnesses. And the funny thing was, they were very cold about it, very nasty to the person who was in this video. And why? Because they knew what I said was correct. But Jehovah's Witnesses are very ice-cold people. They're not loving people at all. To prey on death takes no tact. It takes no class. You're doing this to make your corporate leaders happy, to bring more people into the fold. I'll face it, your organization's on the downcline. And at this point in time, I don't see it getting any better. They've already lost their religious status in Norway, and my guess is one by one, other countries are going to do the same. That was just something I wanted to mention, guys, because it's something that's been leering on my head for a lot of times. I know I've discussed this before, but it just really burned my ass to read some of those comments and to see things like this happen. Anyways, guys, love to hear your thoughts. Hopefully I'll be more common at home doing videos. I don't really like to do them at work. I feel more comfortable at home. But I will see you soon, guys. You guys have a good day.